He's going to be requesting in a second, and we'll get things going live. Later on this evening, we have Tom Walsh from New Zealand.
They shut it down, not because of the European athletics, but because of the French government. So they decided that the risk, I guess, is too high. So
Yeah,
that didn't work out.
well, hopefully there's at least some Diamond League meets or some opportunities, some competitions later on that you guys will be able to compete with.
Yeah, I'm hoping, but everything is still unsure. We're in contact with our managers, and if anybody knows, they will know. But for now, we're just like sitting here waiting, and just some people can train, some people cannot train, and it's definitely not a comfortable situation for us athletes because we don't know what's next.
Right. So what was what kind of went through your mind when you found out that Olympics were going to be postponed till 2021? What kind of emotions did that kind of set off?
Well, for me personally, I started preparation a little bit later because I've been having a bunch of issues with injuries. So for me and for all other athletes, it's just the opportunity to have an extra 365 days to prepare. But I think that there were a lot of top athletes that were really peaking for Olympics and having their whole year planned out for Olympic Games. And in my case, I haven't had that first beginning in the winter of past year to prepare well. So I think they took it much harder. For me, I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Where they're just postponing every competition, and when everybody agreed that it's just another 365 days to prepare, I was like, okay, I guess that's right, because not everybody has the same conditions to train in, and some countries are locking down earlier, some later. So I think it's a good decision.
Understand. Hey, one thing, I mean, you are a unique individual in the throwing world because you started off as a kickboxer and then threw the javelin,
Right.
and then went into the shot put. So I mean, I think most people don't understand. They look at you and I mean, your size is imposing, but can you take us back to the kickboxing days? I mean, when I found that out, I was blown away.
Yeah, that's the interesting story that people like to ask and hear about because it's unusual.
Sure.
So I actually started off with a basketball because my city, my hometown, is a basketball city. So later on, I started to do a little bit of running and just I didn't really know what sport I should choose. And I was a little kid, so by just accident, I started doing kickboxing. I thought it would be good for confidence. I thought it would be good just to have skills. And it literally just took off. It showed that I had a talent for the kickboxing. I had close to 100 matches, and I won a world junior title in kickboxing 2008. And many people don't know it, but I was national champion in boxing as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like U15. That's like little kids, but I was like 15 years old and I was already 86 kilos, so times 2.2. You figure it out.
So the word is, don't really mess with you if you're out in public and you know. Yeah,
I try to avoid conflict. Luckily I'm a big guy, so nobody approaches me aggressively. Nobody ever attacks me in any way. So I'm blessed that I look the way I look, and I don't have issues with the people messing around. I see the comment, he knocked out everyone.
Right.
That's one of my good colleagues, coaches joining in here. So yeah, it was interesting career, and it was tough because at the same time I started doing track and field, I started throwing. So
and you started throwing javelin first.
Yeah, I started throwing javelin, and it wasn't easy because two sports, and it was hard to combine with a high school. I went to a medical high school, so I'm a nurse with my Croatian degree. But little by little, I was trying to be a hybrid thrower. By the time European juniors happened, I already had a standard for discus, javelin, and shot put. So that's another interesting fact. But I had all three events. I had a standard for, and they let me know. They only allowed me to compete finals in javelin and discus. So I wasn't even competing in shot put at that. Yeah, it's crazy. At the European Junior Championships, I didn't compete in shot put. So my personal best was like 17 meters. So I came to college with like 17-meter shot put PR. So I was pushing javelin, pushing discus here and there, but mostly just javelin. I was really eager to try to compete for to enter the was London 2012.
Yep.
It was like 77.80, 77. Or 78, I don't remember. Oh, 79.50 was the standard, and I had 77.89. So I was really pushing to get a standard for London and javelin, and that's how the story rolled out.
So how'd you end up, you know, being an incredible shot putter? I mean, how did that
Well, I was always a bigger and stronger guy, so I always had a diet for javelin. And I feel like my body was just like starving, and like my body like deprived of nutrients, and you know, for me to have 220 pounds or a little under 220 pounds, which I thought was good for javelin, I just had to have like really poor diet with like really little food, and I was like really low body fat. I was like 7 or 8 point body fat with like 220 pounds. So it was natural that I should be a bigger guy. So once all the injuries occurred, I look at my injuries as a blessing, because if I haven't had my injuries, I wouldn't be the shot putter I am today. I had a elbow and shoulder surgery. So after those two injuries, I just, you know, didn't know what to do. I started to throw shot put a little bit just to strengthen my shoulder, and soon enough, after a month, I started throwing like 18 meters, and coach was like, okay, you know, maybe we can compete at SECs with this, you know.
Hey, coach was like, all right, for points in the college meets.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, until I come back in javelin, we can throw a little shot, and then next thing you know, in 6 months, I already had like Olympic standard for Rio. And everybody was like, how? And I figured out that my body just needed food. So I went from like 220 to 260, and in a really quick time, like less than 6 months.
Wow. I mean, the shot put right now is insane globally. I mean, the World Championship shot put last year was, I mean, that's one of the best competitions in the sport of track and field or athletics that I've ever seen. What's it like right now, knowing that the bar is so high, as an athlete competing in it?
Well, 3 years ago when I won world medal, I knew if I get, to 21 and a half, so I'm in the game.
Right.
And just like people are throwing like 22 meters, like it's 21.
I know, right?
So it's definitely not easy. When you think about it, you're like, okay, I need to push myself to my limits, and I need to be careful not to get injured. And to combine those two is really hard, to push your body to limit.
Fine line. Very fine line.
But that's what you need to get to the level that is nowadays in shot put, because I mean, as you saw at the World Championships, I mean, something like that will never be repeated probably in history. I mean, the guy throws from Brazil, Darlan Romani throws 22, I think 50 or something, and it's World Championships, like record for World Championship, and he ends up being fourth. Like,
right?
Yeah, I really felt sorry for that dude. I wanted to give him some kind of medal.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Ryan Krauser said the exact same thing the other day.
Yeah.
You've got a unique situation, or I'd say, in a throwing sense, Croatia as a country has really kind of stepped up the game, with throwing. Yourself and Philip, and then, on the the discus side. I mean, there's so many males and females on both sides. Why do you think Croatia all of a sudden has kind of taken that level up? Sandra, and it just kind of goes on.
Yeah, I see. Even Sandra's coach, Edis, was a world junior record holder.
Right.
Okay. So it's just this area where we live. I mean, we were always fighters and we were always warriors, and we're just big, strong dudes, and our nutrition was always good in this area where we live, and we have combination of Mediterranean diet. We have everything from fish, surf and turf, everything. So just people are just naturally strong and explosive. I think that explosiveness is a key. Because you can't be a thrower if you're just strong. You can't be a thrower if you're just fast. You just need to be big and fast, explosive, and have enough humility to listen to your coach and learn technique.
Right. That whole region is one of my favorite places in the world to be. I mean, that I can.
Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah.
I mean, the food is great, and you can't talk to a thrower without talking food. What's your favorite food, homegrown food, I should say?
I'll just believe it or not, I do miss some American food. Mostly the way they prepare, like barbecue. Yeah. So that's the only thing I really miss from US. But here in Croatia, I would just say beef. Just simple as that. Beef fillet, ribeye, ribs, you name it. I try to eat nose to tail, the whole animal, but it's not easy. But I'm figuring out in the world of nutrition, just not to like the food that I eat, but just try to get the most benefits from collagen and everything. So I try to go back in the ancestral way of eating, So I figured out the best thing is just to be simple. The vegetables you find and the animal you can kill and some fish and I'm just happy when I see that food does me good, does me well, and nourish my body. I'm just like happy with just eating beef and soups and broth. So.
I can definitely appreciate that. What do you see yourself? We'll leave track and field and athletics for a little bit. What do you see yourself doing down the road? What's kind of you said you have the medical part with being
yeah. That's the most interesting question. I got my degree in family, youth, and community sciences. So if I would try to translate it here to Croatian, it would be something like social worker or something to
Okay.
work with kids, and it would be a good job. But I always want to stay connected to sports. I wanted to get another degree in Croatia in kinesiology. So I kind of always wanted to, everything what I learned, I wanted to give it to future generations. So I'm still trying to find a way how to pass the knowledge I got from US, from the great coaches, from everything I learned on myself, and
Right.
I think I have the wide spectrum of what I'm gonna do, because I can pick medical field, I can pick something like sociology that I have degree in, and or I can stick to sports. And personally, I would like to see myself the best in some kind of gym when I'm working with people on a movement. Like in a way, I see a lot of people today, they just don't know how to run.
That is true. Very true.
They can't squat. They can't squat like empty bar. And so I think it would be good to have some kind of gym where I can like teach people just to move well, do training and feel good, and that will be something that will satisfy me the most, because I feel that I can help people there the most.
Sure. Well, what are you doing workout wise right now? I mean, what's kind of the staple for you? In the gym first. We'll go gym first, and then we'll kind of go into the ring afterwards. But
well, where I'm guaranteed here, I'm actually in Slavonia, which this is a continental part of Croatia. So I got no gym. I got like 20-pound dumbbell. that's I'm trying to do all my snatches and presses and isolation exercises with it. But but since I had a lot of lower back injuries and first rib injury that made me miss 2019 season, I just had to like back off, and I took this time as an opportunity to just try to get my fitness overall. I'm just running around. We have a lot of hills here and a lot of good air, and we. I'm here with my wife. We got married last year, the ending of last year. So she has a house here, and it's nice and comfortable since we moved to Zagreb, and we got apartment in Zagreb. But being in a building, it's nicer to be in a house. To have an opportunity to walk out the door and be in the woods, and it's just it connects you with the nature. It's really nice,
How is married life? I mean, it's one thing when you're an athlete, and the life of a professional athlete is very different, obviously, than kind of you're traveling around a lot. You've got training camps and so forth.
Right.
How has that adjustment been? Like, as far as
well, I just started. I'm lucky. I have a wife that's really supportive. So she's really supportive, and she's been following me for the last couple of years. She knows the way I train, and even when we were in a relationship, it was a long distance relationship. I was down there in the Split on the training camp. She was in Zagreb finishing her college, and it was never easy. So. We clicked. We found each other in a perfect ways, that how it should be, and she's just supportive in every way. We have a great dialogue, and we fix every situation that we have with a dialogue. Okay,
that's awesome.
I'm gonna go to competition, I'm gonna be out 7 days. If I'm going to training camp, I'm going to be in training camp for at least 4 weeks. With no breaks. So we plan. I think that's the most important thing in being married, is just to have and then being a pro athlete is just to have a great communication. with your spouse, and mutual respect and understanding. It just covers it all. If you know, if I can compromise something that's not going to damage something that's important to us, then of course I'm going to compromise, and it goes both ways. So for now, we haven't had a problem. So it's been going really good, and I'm really happy, blessed overall. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is, I mean, you're definitely a big guy, but you're an understanding guy, and that's that makes things good.
Yeah, trying to prove that a brain and muscles go together.
What from a training standpoint, then, like actually in the ring, what are some? I mean, is there any specific drills that you kind of favor or you enjoy most? Are you a high volume, thrower, or are you kind of low volume, or do you do gimmicks?
So what I do in gym is high volume, but when I go out in the field, I don't like to do too many reps. I like to focus. And since I'm not the biggest guy out there, obviously, I try to use whatever I have the best, my talent. So, and that's just speed and explosiveness, and trying to get that and transition my flexibility and my speed into a throw. And I try to focus and do good quality throws on like 90% effort. I tend not to go 100% effort because it's always a risk of injury, especially with heavier balls. But I try to visualize what I'm going to do this practice. Even though I have it planned, I still try to visualize, if on my way when I'm driving to training, I'm thinking, okay, this is how my circle looks. This is how I'm going to do my entry. This is how I'm going to do my finish. This is how many throws I need to do. If I throw really far, I'm not going to take more throws than I plan to, because that's tempting. When you do real well, you're going, okay, I'm hammering this, and then your body shuts off, and you're like, end up injured. And that happened to me countless times. So I had to learn from my own experience. Yeah.
Sure. What was the biggest lesson you learned? I mean, a lot of people, throw in the U.S. in college, and then they go on, post-collegiate ability. But then obviously, over in Europe, it's not quite as common, just at the high elite level. What lesson did you kind of learn from that first transition? You have great success in the U.S. system, in the NCAA level, which is pretty high. But then as soon as you left, I mean, you medaled very shortly afterwards in the world level. And what kind of lessons, or I say transition, that you kind of learned in there?
Well, one thing that I learned that's 100% true is that nobody's unbeatable. And in the sport of track and field, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in the work you do. And as a guy who transitioned from NCAA's, let's say, for example, NCAA's indoors, I won.
Right.
And the guy behind me was Ryan Krauser.
Right.
And then next year, Ryan Krauser throws Olympic record in Rio. And then year after that, I beat Ryan Krauser in London World Championships.
Right.
I personally I think Ryan Krauser can throw a ball the furthest of us all.
Right.
Because I'm sure that he has the talent. But nobody's unbeatable. You just need to train at a high level. And I figured that if you're constantly a quality thrower, good things can happen.
That's good. Well, hey, I'm going to put you on the spot. At Florida, I mean, when you were in Gainesville, Florida, you guys had some incredible teams and had some very talented athletes. Who is the best athlete on the team? Not necessarily the best in track and field, but who is the best overall athlete?
That I met in Florida while I was in Florida?
Yes.
Huh. I know you're thinking about Kamal. Kamal is my friend, but I would say Christian Taylor is a phenomenal athlete.
Right.
Christian Taylor is just phenomenal athlete, and he's a really great person. And I think he left the most impact on me as a colleague. At one point, we were even roommates. So I think the way he really expressed his talent. I mean, he even tried to run like 400 and triple jump, long jump. And I saw how talented he is, and he took it seriously. And it was, I think, 2011 Daegu. I think he won gold medal. I was like sophomore in college, so I was like, good guy. So
that's awesome. So now, right now, you're training some, with Filip Mihajlović. You guys are, a training group. What's that like, having another of the, top 10 or so guys in the world to train with, on a regular basis?
Yeah, it's definitely the best thing that can happen to both of us is just to have each other and push each other in training. We just started, and we haven't had much luck with this whole situation. And,
right.
But having Filip, he literally took off last year and this year. And I'm really happy because he was always kind of guy that can, throw really well at some point. He'll have like really good throw, and then, he'll be inconsistent and you never know what to expect.
Right.
But then last year and this year, he's been on a 21 plus level all the time. I saw him falling on 22 plus throws, and it's been really motivating to have somebody in my country and in the same city that is good athlete, that's in the top athlete in a shot with world. So I think when I get healthy and when this whole situation levels out and we start throwing and training really well, I think it will be a mutual benefit. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So we'll end it on this one. What advice would you give to a young athlete kind of coming up in the sport or in any sport, really, to reach their maximum potential?
I would say never give up. And that's and I know that sounds like cliche, but it's really not, because if I tell you my whole life story, you would know, from 2 surgeries, from multiple injuries. I always pushed, I always try to find a way. I never said, okay, it's enough, It's never quit. Whatever your passion is, whatever you love to do, is just always try to find a way, little holes, another way. If that doesn't work out first time, try it another time. If you fail, try third time, always in different approaches. If you feel that something is really good and that it's making you a better person and that you're satisfied what you're doing as an athlete in any sport, just keep chasing it, because I think the only way to be truly happy is to be, as a complete person, happy spiritually, physically, just to have everything covered. And of course it will be hard, and struggles are be probably 90% of the time, but but when a success comes, you just forget all the struggles.
Man, that's some good words.
I'm talking from experience, so yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, Stipe, I appreciate having you on Just the Cup, and wish you the best. And once this is all said and done, I'm excited to get back over to Croatia and share a meal with you and the guys.
Yeah, you need to see the Continental part. They also have great food. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Stipe, best wishes, sir, and we'll look forward to talking with you a little bit later.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye. Thank you for having me.
Hello, everybody. Just a Cup, take 2 for the evening edition. Tom Walsh is going to be getting on. Was just on a little while ago, and we'll see if a different spot in the house leads to a little bit better connection. But excited to have him on. Multiple time medalist in international competitions. Most recently, with the Olympic Games, a bronze medalist in the shot put, and coming from New Zealand, which is one of my favorite countries I've ever been in. I guess it's been a nice thing with Stipe being from Croatia and Tom being from New Zealand. Those are probably two of my favorite abroad destinations. We'll see if this location in my place is better. If it was yours, who knows?
Yeah, it could have been mine, maybe.
Well, hey, I definitely appreciate it. It's fun and exciting, and to have you on and kind of chat a little bit about life down in New Zealand right now. I see the beer. You got strong beer game right now.
Yeah, well.